Welcome to the October meeting of Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees. The meeting will come to order, please. The first item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak to the board? No one? Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda, Ms. Hadley will make a presentation. Ms. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson, and board members. Good evening to all of you in our listening and viewing audience. I am very pleased to present to you, I suppose I will call it a part two presentation on student access and success of a special project that we have really district-wide, but this particular one focuses on the South Campus. Sue Sanders helps us with all these projects, and she was with us last month, as you'll recall, and we had a little malfunction, and you didn't really get to see the virtual tour that she had for you. So, Dr. Thomas, we'll give you another try at that, okay?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Mr. Hudson, members of the board. Thank you very much, Dr. Bill. I start with members of the board and Chancellor Hadley. Thank you very much for your patience and your willingness to put this back on the agenda, Chancellor Hadley. We appreciate it. This evening we'll have a presentation on some of the very unique instructional technology that's available to faculty here at Tarrant County College through our Center of Teaching Excellence that's located at Tarrant County College South Campus Learning Community. Without further ado, I'll have Sue and her and Andrew to make the presentation.
You told me I have to use this thing. So
Yes, you have to use it.
A bit of contrast here. A bit of deja vu for everyone. I want to thank Dr. Thomas and Ms. Johnson-Hadley and the board members for the opportunity to hopefully this time not only talk about technology, but to show some as well. And we at least have an image up on the screen, so we hope we're going to get started here. Maybe lights a little bit. Can we do? There we go. Thank you. First, we'll take a quick walk through this. As you can see, this was one of our classroom buildings. We're going to do a quick walk through the patio here, and that's all been renovated as well. But then we're also going to step into one of the lobbies of our newly renovated building. And I think you'll see here that we have some new modern-looking furniture. And we're also going to take a minute to look at the flat panel display that's up there. That's our new technology piece, and thanks to a customized piece of software from Mark Crouch and Video Support Services, departments can now post activities on campus. They get to see the news a little bit. We now have a broadcast, I think, going from within the district. We can put important reminders up. And some of this is student-generated information, so that's a good thing. We find our students very technology-oriented, and this campus-specific information contributes to our overall student success initiative. Find out more about what's going on campus, and this is the way they like to find out. We're going to step into one of our classrooms next over here. And this is what our new teaching station looks like, but we're going to take a quick tour around the room first. Installed primarily for speech classes in the back of these rooms, and this is about a 40-seat room. You'll notice that we have a video camera and then a video recording station underneath that camera. Our speech instructors wanted to be able to capture the speeches their students were presenting, and so we've installed this PTZ camera in the back and then a recording station so the faculty member can sit back there with their students, record them, and then they can walk up with a little USB drive and take their speech home if they'd like. This is a PTZ camera, so it pan, tilts, or zoom at the behest of the controller, and they can do that via the keyboard, which saved us about $1,200 per room. And using this surveillance technology in combination with Mark Crouch's solution, we saved really thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the technology out there that you purchase kind of off the rack is very expensive. But this works very well, and it's something that we can tweak to meet our needs. This same technology will also be included in virtually every classroom on Trinity River East, with a second camera as well, so they can do demonstrations and do instruction from the lectern. Next, we're going to get a little closer to that teaching station up front. And we're going to first focus on the interactive touchscreen. Now students giving their speeches will be able to do the same thing John Madden does at a football game, or used to. They can highlight information, document in any way they choose. It's really just exactly like what he was using. So you're really projecting anything on the monitor and able to highlight it on the fly, just like Fortune 500 companies. Also in the center of that desktop then is a small touch panel Crestron controller, which provides playback of any source that might be available in the room. You don't have to worry about that remote walking off or the batteries dying, things like that. Also, as part of that touch panel, and he's showing it a DVD screen here, you'll notice there's cables in the front, and they can bring in a laptop or any other camera or other device that they might to display to the system as well. Also on the left, there's a drawer that they can pull out, should they choose to, that contains a document camera, which in some ways replaces the overhead projector, but is a little pricier, but it also does more things. You'll notice that we have a circuit board on there, and look how closely they can zoom in. This is especially helpful in the science classes. We can really zoom in on that board and take a really close look at the technology. Probably closer than most of us want to go, but back out for us, please. But if you were looking at a cell or something, you know, we can, okay. Notice also on the side over there on the right, and we don't flip that up for you, but that also allows little people like me to present and to provide some handicapped comfort for our students or faculty members who may be disabled. Finally, just one more note on the Crestron system. These Crestron controls were developed as a software solution, which means we can go back over time and have those modified to fit whatever technology, and you know how fast that moves, that might be implemented then in the classroom. So we'll be doing that, and we can also hopefully someday upload all that to all the computers in these rooms via the internet, so we don't have to go around room per room and adjust the technology. And then finally, we can also track via the network the lamp life, how much the equipment's been used, and even turn off the equipment if someone, and they never do, but someone were to forget to turn theirs off. We do find that a problem. Ultimately, media will be able to assist via a cell phone. In fact, that technology is available right now, or an iPad or something like that. So depending on how the network's set up, we could also do some troubleshooting from home. So that does give us some options that we don't have available right now, but hope to soon. And next, we're going to move into something that wasn't on the agenda last time. I have new material, too. I forgot to say that we have quick tips on paper on the lectern. We have video training modules on the computer desktop. Oh, he's ahead of me a little bit. Just be patient with me. And we also have things online so they can see how to use any of this technology if they don't come to orientations, or we have one-on-one training, which we would also do for you if you'd like to come visit. So. But next we're going to step into a pallet, which is a portable solution to interacting with the technology. The one you saw up there a while ago has to be tied via a cable to the equipment, but this one is wireless. And let me look at my notes here real quick. This interactive wireless pallet is about $300 versus the other technologies, which is quite a bit more than that. This is especially useful, once again, in science and technology labs because they can highlight, I'm off track, notate, remind people of what's going to be on the test, things like that. And that you can import any image that you want to.
Is that the one I worked on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Are you up next?
He still looks alive.
Well, we did that specially.
I didn't kill him. Okay.
But we also discovered in looking into this technology a little bit more after you left that not only can you have one tablet in a room, but you can also have two, which means you could present a problem, and we're going to present one we know that we can solve. But then another individual with a second palette, Gerald's going to wander around a little bit, can answer that same question. Ms. Shelton, were you still willing? She practiced, so she...
Oh, she already knew how to do it.
Now, we'll let you do it if you'd rather.
No.
Did you pick the different color? Okay. Yay! Let's give you a little round of applause. Now, once again, they could do this anywhere in the room. If the first person didn't know the answer, they could pass it down to the one who might. It would be a more complicated problem, I would hope. But anyway, we did not know it would do that, and I understand it will do up to 12, but you can't interact at the same time, or you get some interesting trails going on to the image. So anyway, we did find that out this week. Talk about interactive. I mean, that's interactive. And part of the fear in math, if you'll remember right, is getting up and walking to the front of the classroom and thinking the guys are watching you. So this does away with all that. So anyway, thank you all very much. And if you have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas and Ms. Sanders. Any questions from the board members? You can see how high-tech we are.
Even in here now. We could have one of these for you next time, so you could highlight it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now our second presentation is going to be a quick review of the $2 million Strengthening Institutions grant that we received from the Department of Education. Dr. Joy Gates Black is going to tell us about that. Dr. Black?
Thank you, Chancellor Hadley. Mr. Hudson and members of the board, I am pleased to stand before you tonight to share information on Tarrant County College's first Title III Part A Strengthening Institutions Program grant. This milestone is the result of a collaboration across divisions and across departments. Dr. David Wells, Ms. Jackie Mackey, Ms. Yolanda Bryant, Ms. Linda Walker, Dr. Linda Hines, and myself were committed to making Tarrant County College's first Title III application the very best that it could be. And when we finished it and submitted it, we were confident that what we submitted adequately stated the need for the funding and what we would do with the funding if, in fact, it was awarded to us. And now that we've received the grant, I want to share with you a little bit about Title III, what our goals for the grant are, and what we plan to do over the next 5 years in terms of activities to reach our goals. First of all, I want to let you know that our Title III project at Tarrant County College is called Project Strong. And you can see it's spelled a little differently, but that stands for Supporting Student Success, Student Transformations, Reaching Onward to Graduation. We thought this title was appropriate for the scope of this project and because it demonstrates TCC's commitment to student success, to transforming lives, and to helping students reach their goal of graduation. Now, Title III Part A Strengthening Institutions grants can be used in a number of ways. They can be used to support improvements in educational quality, management, and financial stability. And they can be used to help institutions solve problems that may threaten the institution's ability to operate or to meet the needs of its students. The grant focuses on institutions that have large enrollments of low-income and minority students. This grant is for a 5-year period with funding amounts totaling $400,000 each year, provided Tarrant County College adheres to Title III guidelines and meets established objectives. This past fall, we began several new initiatives funded by the college's budget and by additional grant funds from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. These Title III federal funds will provide additional resources to expand these efforts. There are 3 goals for our Title III project. The first goal is to increase the success of first-time in college students in developmental courses. Our desired outcome is to increase the success of these students by 10% in 5 years, and to increase the college readiness of these students by 10% as well. Our second goal is to provide faculty and staff members with the skills necessary to implement promising and best practices that will positively impact student persistence, success, and graduation rates. Our desired outcome is to ensure that at least 80% of faculty and staff members participate in student achievement-focused professional development, and that at least 25% of faculty and staff members are engaged in active research around the district. Our third and final goal is to increase persistence and graduation rates for all students, but with special focus on our African American and Hispanic students. Our desired outcome is that in 5 years, we will increase student persistence by 5% among all subcategories, and we will increase our graduation and transfer rates by 2%. These are some of the planned project activities that we will implement over the 5-year period of the grant. First of all, we will hire staff members to increase the advising and mentoring capacity on each of our campuses. We will establish a developmental education institute and a student development institute to support faculty and staff access to new and innovative teaching and learning methodologies and promising and best practices. We will broaden assigned advising to include not just first-time in college students who require developmental coursework, but any first-time in college student. We will broaden our Transition to College Success course to offer it not just to students who require developmental coursework in 2 areas, but to any student who would like to take it. We will also implement a tracking system to track student usage of support services, and we will serve as a leader college in the Achieving the Dream network. This is just a summary of how the Title III Project Strong grant will be implemented at TCC. We expect the grant to have far-reaching impact, and working collaboratively with our efforts under Achieving the Dream, working with the faculty and staff at all of the campuses and the district offices, we are confident that we will reach the goals we've established for the grant, and we will play a huge role in helping to improve the success of our students. So I look forward to coming back to you from time to time to share updates on how we're doing with this.
Thank you, Joy. Any questions from board members? I will remind you that with this $2 million grant, this now totals $3.5 million that we have received over the last few months that will help us reach many of the goals in our TCC Vision 2015. And there are a few other outliers out there, right, Jackie? I don't know how much more we can add to that $3.5 million, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll get some more. Well, as a matter of fact, she is working on another one as we speak. So thank you so much, team, for all of your great work and making that happen. It certainly will go a long way.
For the avoidance of doubt, this is a huge issue. We'll talk about it later. I went to Canada, and there was a town hall session with all kinds of people in it, trustees from all over the country, with ACCT and other leaders, and student success is definitely on the agenda. It's probably one of the highest priorities in the nation.
That's right.
And so this is an important thing that we're doing. All these projects.
Thank you, Mr. Greenhill.
And I echo my thanks also. Good job. Before I start on the action items on the board agenda, I probably should say a word about the agenda. You probably have noticed it's been revised a little bit. We're trying to change the agenda so that it fits me a little better. I'm more comfortable with it. And also, we're trying to make it a little more effective and a little more efficient so that we can help me move forward and help the board move forward in a productive manner. We have done something, I know some of you will not really like this. We've put the closed meeting at the back end, so that we don't hold the staff here for however, is it 1 hour per attorney? I mean, whatever the calculation rate is. Anyway, my first time I told you that we would be there for a few minutes. It's more like a few hours. But we're going to try to keep it there as much as we can. There will be times when we'll need to move it around on the agenda, but we're going to make a concerted effort to make sure that it's the last thing so you don't have to stay around. Also, in the board portion of the board action item portion of the agenda, you'll notice that we've opened up an item. From time to time, board members require information and want to make a presentation or have a presentation made to the board. So we're opening that up so that board members can have something before the board, and I think that's critical, because I know in my last 2 years there were times when I would have liked to have said, okay, I need more information on this. Would you present this to us, and so on and so forth. But anyway, it is changed, and we are working very hard this meeting to work to get out within an hour or so, but do a good job of what we do and do it more efficiently. So just wanted to let you know that, and I appreciate the staff and the Chancellor for working with me on that to make it happen. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Hearing none, they will be approved as written then. The next item is the consent agenda. And for those of you who, for the public, the consent agenda contains items that we feel are non-controversial, that really we have hashed out. We've discussed those, and there needs no further discussion. But also, any board member can request that an item be removed from the consent agenda, and we'll consider it separately. So first of all, I'd ask if any board member has anything on the consent agenda that you would like to see removed and considered separately. Okay, hearing nothing, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Ms. Appleman. Oh, I'm sorry. When I'm turned that way, I can't hear. Dr. Morrison has made a motion, and Mr. Greenhill has seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Okay. The next item on the agenda is a presentation by a board member by Ms. Appleman. Ms. Appleman, I will give you the microphone.
Thank you. You have in your packet, and hopefully have had a chance to review a request by the Association of Community College Trustees, ACCT, which is our national association, a two-page pledge, if you will, to recognize the educational and training needs in our community. And there are three sections. The first one, we believe; the second, we commit; and finally, we ask. And it dovetails very nicely into Dr. Joy Gates Black's presentation. But Dr. Black, it gives us an extra 5 years in this piece, so you are on the fast track. This one commits us by 2020 to, and this is the short version, to promote the development and implementation of policies, practices, and institutional cultures that will produce 50% more students with high-quality degrees and certificates by 2020. We call upon every sector and constituency of our college and community to join us in this work. And it requires the signature of the chair of the Board of Trustees, so I would move approval of that action, and also the Chancellor's signature.
You have a second? Have a second? Any discussion or questions on that item? I can make one comment. This is very high on the College Board agendas, and I really appreciate you bringing. Sorry, it's very high on the College Board agendas, and I really appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the board. It's something that it's really very important. Having said that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay.
Mr. Hudson, if I may add as well, you know, you appointed Mrs. Appleman, or she volunteered, I'm not sure which one it was, for the Achieving the Dream core team. And she has been with us for all of our meetings. This call to completion challenge works right along with Achieving the Dream. And this also gives me an opportunity to remind everybody who is with Tarrant County College and all those people outside of the college that it may sound as though every month we come and we're talking about something new. It's all dovetails together. It is all about student access and success. The grants we've gotten, Achieving the Dream, the completion agenda, whatever we're talking about, it all actually dovetails into one piece. Achieving the Dream really pulls it all together for us. And the CALT members, as well as the JCC, have also participated in every one of our Achieving the Dream meetings. It is serious business for us. And, of course, a significant number of other employees here also participate. Some of our employees are already a little bit Achieving the Dream weary. They're kind of tired of hearing it, but after a while it's going to become a part of the fabric of the institution, and it is going to be the way we operate. If we do it well, we will literally transform the way we do business, and that's difficult. That's changing the culture of the institution. We're moving away from being so ecstatic about the large numbers of students we bring in, moving toward being ecstatic about the large number of students who are successful, who successfully complete a certificate or a degree, or who become college ready, who are able to get through their remedial courses, because in many instances students take 3, 4, 5 years to get out of remedial education before they are prepared for college level courses. And we're saying at TCC that that is no longer acceptable. So if you hear a few rumbles around the district about all these different things we're doing, the diversity initiatives and everything else, it all ties into one nice little package. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hadley. Ms. Appleman has another presentation also.
Well, to help us with our mission, we have the Tarrant County College Foundation, and tonight we're welcoming Dr. Joe McIntosh, the Executive Director, back. He's been with us a time or two before, and he is going to introduce you to the new chair of his board, as well as the very successful chair of the luncheon event last month. And they will give us a report on new dollars raised for scholarships. Dr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Ms. Appleman. President Hudson, Chancellor, board members, it is a distinct pleasure to have the opportunity to update you about the work of the Tarrant County College Foundation. So with that, we'll jump right in. Our slogan, our theme, our mission, tomorrow starts here, right now. I want to give a few numbers to you. This is our fiscal year 09-10. We mirror the college's fiscal year, September 1st through August 31st. As of August 31st, 2010, assets held by the foundation total $5,236,549. Now, these are unaudited numbers. Our auditor has just finished up their work and will be reporting within the next week to 10 days. On the investment side, our portfolio is, we have an investment policy established by our foundation board. They have employed a consultant as well as a money manager that it sort of serves as a three-legged stool, so that there's three sets of eyes on the foundation assets. Total portfolio this past for the 12 months, trailing 12 months ending August 31st, earnings were 4.16% versus the S&P of 4.91. You'll notice there's a slight lag, but then let me give you the perspective. From January to August 2010, the downside was 0.83% versus the S&P being down 4.62%. We may not always capture the most of the upside, but we'll make sure that the assets are protected, and so that the least minimum will be affected during times of downturn. You know, the number one goal of any private foundation is protection of assets. So we feel like we're positioned to do that. Our board is involved in overseeing that, as well as then the professionals that they employ to do that. On the revenue and fundraising side, in fiscal year 09-010, there was $1.277 million in cash plus $7 million in an endowment held. We've talked about what the Birdville Independent School District, they dedicated an endowment to be used exclusively for scholarships for their students to attend Tarrant County College, and this is then handled and managed through the TCC Foundation. This included then, in addition to scholarship funds, $178,487 in contributions for TCC programs. And examples of this would be monies for an Academy of Math and Engineering at the South and Southeast campus. Several programs that community enrichment programs administered through the South campus. Just a whole assortment of initiatives that individuals as well as corporations and businesses want to fund and support the college. Also, scholarships were awarded for $432,246. and that went to 548 individuals. A key initiative this past year was the launch of an alumni program. You had the opportunity to see that happen at its very birth, at graduation this past year. And as a part of that, it's meant as an opportunity for people connected in the past with TCC to reestablish or reconnect themselves with the institution. We're doing that through an online portal. We developed that, and as of the end of the fiscal year, over 1,100 individuals had registered and said, hey, we want to be reconnected with Tarrant County College. Another highlight was the Employee Annual Giving Program. Each year we do an initiative, a campaign in the fall. In fall a year ago, there was a 3.2 increase in employee annual giving, and I'd like to point out that that syncs exactly with the amount of salary increase that our employees received. They gave it back, Chancellor. $228,000 in the combined Tarrant County College Foundation and United Way giving, and it represented a 49% increase in giving directly to the Tarrant County College Foundation. The numbers are still being tallied, but I'm happy to report to you in the Employee Annual Giving campaign that was just concluded this past week for this coming year, we achieved 108% of the goal that was established. We have reported to you about this partnership that we have with the Birdville Independent School District. As I said, there's a $7 million endowment designated for TCC scholarships. What does this mean, actually? Well, we had the first of these students enroll and participate and take opportunity in this. There were 452 graduating seniors that attended TCC this fall, as opposed to, in the year before, 354. Out of that group, 143 received the Birdville scholarships. The administration for the district were ecstatic because that is approximately 452 equates to approximately one graduating class at one of the three high schools. So that's a significant percentage of their students are attending Tarrant County College. Now, a highlight for the foundation and we feel for the college and the community was the recent September 7th scholarship luncheon event. Report to you that the luncheon revenue was $235,975. Net proceeds to the scholarship funds was $176,939. Over 700 attended, but I have a statement here that was shared with us that I think really totally captures the essence and the real benefit of the event. The immediate benefit is dollars, but it also elevates TCC in standing that should be advantageous in numerous ways. And this was shared with us by Gordon England, and many of you know Mr. England. He's the former CEO of Lockheed. Most immediately, he was Deputy Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Navy. The man's been around and has been to a lot of fundraising events, and so I take whatever he says with the highest compliment. Key initiatives in this coming year. Scholarships, scholarships, scholarships. That's the key focus and priority that we're about. That ties directly with our component of the strategic plan that you adopted, allowing for more students to have opportunity to access this institution. But in addition, we're also about various program support and enhancements. The new Trinity River Allied Health programs that will be moving in there beginning this next year. And in just a matter of a couple of weeks, we're going to begin a series of what we're calling hard hat tours, where we're going to begin exposing a lot of the philanthropic community to the facility. These will be private foundation executives and other key philanthropic leaders. The purpose primarily is to begin for them to see and hear the story of what those buildings are set to accomplish. To get the message off of construction, but talk about the why and the reason and why those buildings have been built in response to need and what the community said, Tarrant County College, this is what we want you to be about. So we're excited about that. We're also going to be involved in helping and assisting the fire safety and law enforcement programs with some key initiatives and needs that they have with some equipment and we have several things planned there. We'll be launching this next year a CEO roundtable. As mentioned in the strategic plan, this is an initiative that's focused and primarily trying to connect the boardroom with the institution and really see what the corporations and the businesses in this community, what is it they really need and what is it they look to for the college to be the training ground for many of their workers. And then obviously the continued expansion of the alumni program, and really the reason for that is to increase our base, increase the opportunity of people that have benefited from the work of the college to then be a part of the ongoing mission in the future. In addition, we'll be launching what many have come to understand, a planned giving focus. This is really an opportunity where people can look at long-range plans that they may want to participate in as far as wills and estates. Wills and bequests emphasis. We'll be launching a legacy society. We'll be having information sessions with faculty and staff. You know, I tell you, you know the generosity that's demonstrated by the faculty and staff annually, but many of them have already indicated, you know, we believe in this, we've served this, we want to make provision for the future of this institution. So we'll be sharing and involving faculty and staff in ways that they can be a part in that respect. And then also, per the strategic plan that you approved, we'll be looking at studying the feasibility and preparation of a capital campaign and looking and talking about what does that need to look like and how should that be shaped. We'll identify key goals and the focus of that. These are our board of directors, volunteer individuals from across the community that lead and administer the Tarrant County College Foundation. You'll see many names there. Of course, Ms. Appleman and Mr. Greenhill are your representatives on that board, as well as Chancellor Hadley. Tonight, I'm honored to introduce to you, Jenny, why don't you join me here, our new chairman, Jenny Teig, who's been elected by the board to lead us this year. And Jenny, you might have a word to this group here.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, to meet you and to be with Mr. McIntosh while he's giving our report. We're very proud of the progress we've made. I've sat on the board for several years, and it's very gratifying to be at a point where we feel we can be much more effective in helping Tarrant County College reach its goals of success for its students. And as we evaluate the requests for money that we receive, we realize that we can really contribute to that success, and sometimes it doesn't really take very much, and sometimes it does. But we are delighted to increase our ability to raise the money for scholarships for students and to work with you after your wonderful strategic plan that you had last year. The participation of so many people in the community was wonderful, I think. But we're very excited to work with you in the coming years to help make Tarrant County College a success and their students successful. Thank you.
As a final component of our report to you tonight, first of all, I want to thank those of you that were able to participate in the scholarship recognition dinner this last week. We had a full house, Dr. Fulkerson, at your campus, of donors and students and recipients from across the county that came and was a part of that. Some wonderful stories that were shared, and donors encouraged and had the opportunity to see and touch and see the folks that they were helping to be a part of their lives. At that dinner, as well as many of you saw at the recent scholarship event in September, we have a video that I think it's important that whenever we gather to show that, because it just helps again to put it into perspective that yes, we're about numbers, yes, we're about programs and doing a lot of good things, but it's really about impacting lives. And this video kind of helps give a testimonial about that. All right? But it's good, let me tell you. There we go.
TCC is opportunity.
TCC is incredible. The college experience is a good education, as well as making friends and figuring out who you are, and I believe you can do that anywhere, and why not do it or start at a community college?
If you have TCC, that's, extended family, is very encouraging and hopeful feeling.
One of the reasons that we chose TCC was that we had both attended TCC, and we saw a lot of the people that were in those classes, and a lot of them were people that were really struggling to make it through school and make a living.
Getting a scholarship from TCC was extremely important to me. First, it just kind of helped me just get a load off my shoulders. I was no longer worrying about, oh, am I going to be able to buy my books or pay for my classes? I was just able to relax and focus on classes.
There was one student that we had that was the first one in her family to go to school, and that really made a big difference. She was a good role model for the rest of her family. This is the best money that we've ever spent. It was really very rewarding.
When I received the scholarship, it was a tremendous asset for me because I couldn't afford to take more than one class. Without that additional aid, I would be attending college for numerous more years. I'm an older student. I have a family and 3 children, so it's a lot more exhausting to be a student now than it was when I was in my 20s. So it's going to be very nice to be finished and finally to complete that goal that I'd set years ago of getting a degree.
I am extremely thankful to the donors. If it wasn't for them, I would still be worrying about paying for my books. I'm very thankful that they would give their time and energy to somebody like me who's just another student going to school trying to make something of themselves. So I'm very, very thankful to them.
If you want to donate some money and to make a difference in this community, I can't think of a better place to put it than in TCC. I think it leverages the money that you spend, and it makes this community better for that. I think that's the biggest reason we did it, and I would encourage anybody to do it.
Board of Trustees, thank you for the opportunity to report to you tonight.
Thank you, and Ms. Appleman, thank you very much for bringing that to the board. Our next item on the agenda is consideration and an action on appointment of audit committee of the board. The board hired an auditor several months ago, and now we need a committee to receive those audit reports and other auditing functions. And I can't make a motion, but I'm presenting it, so are there discussion on that, questions, comments, or whatever?
Well, yes, I would like to make a motion that we establish, is it what you're asking for, establishment of it, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I have a question. Is that already provided for?
Did we take care of that in the policy?
No, when we changed the policy, the policy prohibited the creation of standing committees, and we removed that prohibition, and now we can create an audit. We could not create an audit committee prior to the removal of that prohibition. Now we can.
Okay.
Okay.
And is there a time suggestion with that, or is this an indefinite until it's replaced, or? What is your
I would
intention
suggest to
on
be
that,
a
Mr.
standing
Chair?
committee. I think that I went to when I went to the function in Canada, I did not see any.
Yeah, and
I asked a lot of. Excuse me.
I need to, we have a motion on the floor, so before we can do discussion, we need to get a second on that. Do we have a second? I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'm sorry, Mr. Greenhill. Go ahead.
When I went to Canada, one of the things I was asking about was committees, and there was a lot of discussion about committees, but an audit committee, finance committee is something that virtually, I guess, almost every county college has. It's not what it is a oversight function. It really reviews, an audit committee in my mind reviews the independence of the auditors on a periodic basis, meets with the independent auditors and with the internal auditor. We need a structure we have a new internal auditor. We need a structure around what she may or may not be doing with us. So basically, it's a way of periodic review of our accounting records, the independence of the the various things that audit committees do. Virtually every organization that I know of now has one. The federal government requires it of all corporations that are publicly held. So I think it's something we really need to have.
Okay.
I have just a question. I'm not opposed to standing committees. I just would like to ask, would the chairman of the committee be responsible, I guess the committee as a whole, for, say, an annual goal and objectives? And then logistically, what's your expectation on how often the committee meets? Because just not only out of respect for the trustees, but for staff as well, because...
My vision of the audit committee would be that it would meet quarterly. And yes, I would expect that the chairman of that committee would present to the board a kind of a structure of that committee and define the purpose of that committee and have that presented to the board for board approval.
Okay, so would a motion be in order to amend that motion to say that the confines of the committee would be presented to the board at a future meeting for approval?
That the structure or whatever, yes, that would be a valid amendment.
I
So-
just make that motion.
Okay, so we have an amendment to the motion. Do we have a second to that amendment?
Sure, second.
Okay, second. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye. Opposition? So the amendment carried. Okay, are there other discussion on the motion as amended? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign? Okay. In the motion, the board action is required to create a committee, and then the members of the committee are selected by the president of the board with the consent of the board itself. So I would like to name Mr. Greenhill, Ms. Appleman, and Mr. Carter as members of that committee, if the board agrees. Does anyone oppose to that? No. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Hudson, if I may tell the board members, a few months ago, as you know, we did hire an internal auditor, and she has been working diligently. You've met Annette earlier. She has a work plan that she's anxiously awaiting for this board committee to take a look at and see what you think about it, and very soon bring it to the board for its adoption. Okay? So we're ready to go.
Okay, so if I might just clarify, and I don't want to be out of order. We approved a committee, you've appointed the committee, and it was the intent of my motion to say that the committee would develop a structure and bring it back to the board to inform us for our approval of their working guidelines? Okay,
That's in the motion.
thank you.
And they will do that. I would assume they will have an organization meeting, which will be the first one, and I would assume that they probably would hear from our auditor, who would give them some guidance as to what she plans. Okay.
Right, and although we didn't specify that, since most board committees are expected to have staff representation, I would expect that the auditor would be the staff representation to that audit committee.
No, our bylaws, our policy says that the chancellor is ex officio a member of any committee that we appoint.
Right, I understand that, but. Okay, I just wanted to say, my expectation, let me just make it personal, would be that since we have an expert auditor on staff, that I would strongly encourage the board members that are a part of that committee to utilize that expertise as they progress on their work.
I think they'll have to.
Okay. Thank you.
I think they will need her. Absolutely, and she'll be right there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And it's good for me it would be good for me to take an opportunity now to remind people who are on the board, on the committees, as chairman of the committees, that any correspondence to other committee members need to go to the chancellor, because she is ex officio member and she needs to receive that correspondence. And also, if you have a 3-member board and you send an email to those 3 members as to 2 other members as chairperson of that committee, and you copy Irma or Ms. Hadley, that's okay. But if you copy me, you have violated the Open Meetings Act. So then that's something that we probably need to be mindful of too as we go along. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is another committee, consideration and action on appointment of governance committee of the board. That's something else that I'm presenting. I had mentioned several weeks ago, a couple months ago, I guess, that there were 2 or 3 committees that I wanted to appoint, and one of them I had mentioned an executive committee. But an executive committee, according to our bylaws and to our policy, has authority that I don't think this board wants to delegate to a committee. So this committee would come under the same restrictions that any other committee would. It's advisory only, has no decision-making authority, and the chancellor is ex officio on this one. And I'll give you some reasons for my request that we create this committee. First of all, I would like for it to be a committee that is made up of the officers of the board, president, secretary, and vice president. The reason for that is, if you read the board policy, you'll discover in the board policy that the president has some responsibilities that I think the president of the board, at least this president, needs some assistance in. One of those is to make sure that all resolutions are carried out as intended, and there's some other things in there. And I think it's good for other people to be involved in what's going on in agenda setting and this sort of thing. We've Ms. Hadley, myself, and our attorney have set up a process now so that when the agenda is finalized, we have a meeting and we sit down and we finalize the agenda. And I would like to have the vice president involved in that discussion, and I would like to have the secretary involved in that discussion. Also, I think the board policy, as I read it, needs some revision. When you look at the responsibilities of the president and the board policy, you'll find some of them listed there, and then in some other part of the policy, you'll find some other responsibility. And I think it would be good if we put all those responsibilities where it's easy to find. Responsibility of the chancellor is another good example. You have a list of the responsibilities of the chancellor, and then when you look in the board meeting section, you find another list of responsibilities which is putting together the agenda in collaboration with the president and so on and so forth. So I would like for this committee to do two things: assist the president, and the second thing, at least for now, is to review the policy, board policy, and then come back to the board and make recommendations, and then it would require board approval to make any changes, because it's an advisory, would be an advisory committee only. So that's the rationale behind that. Questions or?
Dr. Morrison and I are on the same page in regard to structure. What I would call, what she's asking for is what I'd call a charter. What are the jobs? What is the job of this committee? Would you envision establishing a charter for your governance committee to kind of, as Dr. Morrison would probably want, a charter for you to come back and say, this is what this committee is going to do?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's, I call it a charter, she calls it a structure. I think that's a good thing. I mean, so we'll all have a clear idea as to what you want, and then we can consider it then. We can establish it then.
I agree with that.
We were discussing it without a motion or anything. I was just asking a question, I guess.
That's fine. We can discuss it without a motion. It's just that when a motion is made, a second is required before any further discussion. So we're good. Yes, I agree with that. The problem that I see creating a charter and then putting the committee together is there may need to be changes. So if I would agree that if you would like to amend that to create a charter or guidelines at the first meeting, that would be good, and bring that back to the board for approval. Are you?
So are you asking?
I guess
for
we
that
need a motion
because
before.
You didn't have a motion.
Yes.
I was just talking. I was talking out loud.
Yeah.
I would say a charge to what the charge of the committee would be, and I would, in colloquial terms, add the confines of the committee operations. So, Mr. President, in response to your request, I'm happy to move that we establish a board governance committee, which consists of 3 officers of the board, to include the president, the vice president, and the secretary, which would review, and among other things, review board policy, which they would report to the board possible suggestions for amendment.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Have a second? Okay, now, Mr. Greenhill, would you like to make an amendment to?
No, I think
Oh, you included that in your motion. Fine, great, okay, sorry. My bad. My bad. Are there further discussions or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carried. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is Ms. Hadley, financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. I'm going to call for Mr. Mark McClendon, our CFO, to come and give you a review of the income, expenditures, and the investment portfolio. Mr. McClendon.
Thank you. Madam Chancellor, Mr. Chairman, board members, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm always happy to give you the information of the hard work of all our people at Tarrant County. Enclosed in your financial packet, you will find a balance sheet for a maintenance fund, a balance sheet for auxiliary fund, a balance sheet for renew and replacement fund, a balance sheet for our plant fund. You will also find an income statement for our maintenance fund, an income statement for auxiliary and enterprise fund, an income statement for renew and replacement fund, an income statement for building fund, and a restricted fund statements. We like complete transparency, and if you have any questions, we are always happy to receive them. What we do for the board is, on a monthly basis, we review the expenditure statements. And we have nothing to report at this moment. What we do is we will take the total expenditures for the year, we divide them by 12, and then we kind of take a look at it. If we did do that just basically as an average, the average will be 8% on a monthly basis. Our total to date is about 6.7%. So it seems to be we're under, so that's a good just an acid test to say that we are fine on expenditures. We also will look at any expenditure that has a higher than average, and we will look at that and we will analyze that. So that's just a quick way for us to look at expenditures and to let the board know that we are okay. We have nothing exceptionally to report. I'd like to now pass on to our investment portfolio. The market value went from $208 million to $191 million for the month. 17 million of these were used for operations. If we compare our results for a 13-year yield week accordant, we are 54 basis points greater than the T-bill rate for 13 weeks, which is 15 basis points. If you look at the 26-week yield is 49 basis points higher than the T-bill, which is 20 basis points. Any questions that I could ask, or I could answer? Yes, ma'am.
I do. I like the expenditure statement with the percentages.
Yes, ma'am.
Expended, and I like the analysis of where we're high. For instance, can you just explain, let's see, there's one at 39% is district support, just to give us an idea of the upfront cost.
The district support, yeah, it's 39.2 expended. Majority of software license fees. Okay. What you'll see on some of these, I actually went through everything that was greater than 15%. And what we found out is on some of these, for example, if you look at leases are front-end loaded, so you'll see a higher percent. If you look at district support, these are software license fees. They're front-end loaded. And what that means is that we have higher expenditures at one period of time because it covers the whole period. All right? Any other question?
No, that's great.
Is that fine?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hudson, if I may take you back to item 4C on the agenda. It's listed on the consent agenda, but I've been told by my expert that we probably need to make sure we take separate action on this, and that is the appointment of Dr. Larry Darlage to the tax increment reinvestment zones number 1 and 2. We want to make sure he's legal, so when he goes to those meetings, they don't kick him out. So if you could get a motion and a second to approve that, that would be good, please.
It's on the consent agenda.
It's on the consent agenda.
I know, but
you want to? Sure, I'll make a
Bill
motion
Lace
to,
is worried. He's a worry wart, and he tells me that I really need to do that, so have a motion and a second.
Mr. Greenhill has made a motion that we appoint Mr. Darlage to the tax reinvestment zone. Do I have a second? Mr. Carter seconds it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have named you twice. Ought to be good, right? Ought to stick.
It all stick. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. And now for my report, I want to start by calling on Dr. David Wells to introduce 2 people to you who are not new to the college but are in new positions with him. David?
Thank you very much, Ms. Hadley. Mr. Hudson, members of the board, it gives me great pleasure to tell you that we've added a couple of staff members in academic affairs this summer due to some resignations and vacancies caused by illness. We lost the Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, the Associate Vice Chancellor for Continuing Education Services, and I am proud to announce to you this evening that I have those positions replaced. Dr. Jane Harper, thank you, Larry Darlage, was the Vice President of Teaching and Learning Services for Northeast Campus. Jane has been, if you will, stand, has been with the college district for over 40 years and served in a variety of capacities. She's been a teacher, department chair, division chair, dean, vice president of teaching and learning, and I'm proud to have her.
And I must add, as she sits down, that Jane and I guess 3 others now who are left, are some of the originals, but we all came together, the Northeast Campus, all those years ago. So she's a real special person along with all those others of us who are pioneers. Thank you, Jane.
She was at Northeast Campus when I got there in 1979 and has been keeping me straight ever since. So I'm glad to have her. Mr. Troy Vaughn. Troy, if you'll stand up. Troy, after retiring as a colonel from the United States Army, went to work for Synergy in Fort Worth and then came to work for Tarrant County College in Corporate Services as a coordinator of special projects. He was named Assistant Dean of Continuing Education, again at Northeast Campus, thank you, Larry, where he went on to become Dean of Continuing Education and was most recently Vice President of Continuing Education Services out there. Troy's been named to the Associate Vice Chancellor position for Continuing Education Services for the district, and I'm proud to have him too.
Thank you.
Now, Larry got more work assignments from that last appointment, so he'll be needing some help too.
Larry, the force is with you. Thank you. We are very appreciative. It's always good for us when we have employees at the ready who can take over these very responsible positions, and we know that it isn't easy for the releasing campus to do so, especially to lose two of your vice presidents almost at the same time. So you're a real trooper, and we appreciate you, Larry. Thank you. I have a legislative update in your packets, and I won't go over that. I do want to take just a few minutes to mention a couple of the campus accolades. Last month, this month, oh, Morris, every day is so busy. October 6th, we gathered on the Trinity River campus for a district-wide celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month in a program that's pronounced Abrazanda. Is that right, Dr. LeBlanc? Abrazanda al Éxito, which is embracing success. And it was an absolutely wonderful evening program. Students, Hispanic students from all over the district were invited to come, and a large number of them came, had a keynote speaker, and it was a really, really good celebration for them. In addition to the students, Hispanic employees from all over the district were invited to be there as role models for those students so that they could see what can be done. In addition to the outstanding keynote speaker we had, who is a very successful Hispanic gentleman from Dallas, we also had two of our outstanding faculty members from Northeast Campus, two from the music department, who played a duet that was written by one of our faculty members. I mean, just absolutely mesmerizing. It was wonderful entertainment for us. So we were so pleased about that. And then also on the Northeast Campus, the Northeast Theater students reached more than 1,500 children in Tarrant County libraries with their original productions of Catch the Reading Express. The Northeast Campus of Kappa Delta Phi, the Educational Honor Society, was recognized by the National Office for Outstanding Membership too in 2009-10 academic year. On our Northwest Campus, Dr. LeBlanc is still celebrating the opening of our first early college high school. It is wonderful. I was on the campus yesterday and got to look in the eyes of all of those, what I call bright-eyed, bushy-tailed students. They are ecstatic about being in college. They're ninth grade students, and they're having a wonderful time. Amy Moore is serving as the principal of the school, and she's doing an outstanding job. Dr. LeBlanc and her team have done great work. Gary Goodwin, who is the Vice President for Continuing Education, has done all of the legwork for her in putting that together, and it is wonderful. Dr. LeBlanc is also in conversation now with Dr. Melody Johnson, Superintendent of Fort Worth ISD, who is also jumping at the bits now to get an early college high school on that campus. And So she's working with the TEA to see if we can't get 2 districts in one school. And that'll be a real coup for us if we can pull it off. We're convinced that we'll make that work. Also, I want to highlight the graduation ceremony for inmates at the Carswell Federal Bureau of Prisons that took place on September 29th. I highlight this because I think it's always important for the people of Tarrant County to know just how diverse we are as an institution and how we work really hard to serve all of the constituents of this county who need our service. And this is a great program that has been run by the Northwest Campus for years. South Campus has had a program for the federal prison. I guess only men are down there by the South Campus. We offer courses down there as well. So we have students graduate from that program from time to time. On the South Campus, I wanted to highlight the Summer Bridge program for 2010. And we're always excited about bridge programs because it gives us an opportunity to help students get better prepared to do college-level work that happened on the South Campus. And then the State Energy Collaborative, where Carl Perkins awarded the South Campus a $99,000 grant to work on a statewide curriculum for energy, for the energy industry with the focus on technician-level skill sets. And so we're very proud of that. The Southeast Campus held a Veterans Fair, something all of our campuses are focused on special services for our veterans, but the Veterans Fair was held on Southeast Campus with the Veterans Administration to host a benefits fair about educational opportunities that are available with over 200 people attending. At least you know what kind of interest there is. And also, the Southeast Campus was selected as a site for the FTC regional competitions for the junior varsity engineering program. They have been working quite effectively with young students who are interested in being engineers, and we're very proud of that program. They were awarded $12,500 to support the FIRST robotics program, and they've already received $27,500 from that project, and that's in addition to the $100,000 that they've gotten from the Sid Richardson Foundation. And some of that money from Sid Richardson, I believe, also went to the South Campus for a similar program. And then on our Trinity River campus, we won a Fiesta Mart Prize Trophy for our entry into the September 16th parade that was held last month on September 16th. So Trinity River is right down in the mix of all things downtown, and so thank you, Dr. Fulkerson, for participating in that. And the Trinity River campus also held their second annual developmental education luncheon for developmental education students, which is something that's really, really helpful to our students. It was planned by the divisional deans, the faculty, and the staff, and they featured faculty speakers as well as student speakers who talked about pathways to success, and that was a very effective effort. The only other thing I'll tell you in my report, and it isn't on what you have here, but I spent the full day yesterday on the Northwest Campus. Dr. LeBlanc and her staff trekked along with me all day from 9 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. And we spoke with every group on the campus, employee groups as well as students. It was absolutely a delightful opportunity for me to get to meet with all of the employees as well as our students, and I have a day planned for the other 4 campuses. And I plan to do that periodically so that I can be out and make sure that I hear what the people have to say. I call them conversations with the Chancellor, and also invite them, if they don't want to say it out loud, to go on the website, and there's a place online where they can ask the Chancellor or tell the Chancellor anything they want to know. So thank you, Elva, for the wonderful day yesterday. It was absolutely wonderful. I said to her about halfway through, I wish every board member could be with us today and see all of this and hear all of this, because there are so many exciting things going on all of our campuses. There's a lot to know, I know that, And I know you can't be there to hear everything that I hear and see everything that I see, but I still wish you could. And so I invite you every opportunity you get to get out to the campuses and participate and see what's going on and get asked the tough questions like I get asked, like students ask me. One of the first questions students wanted to know, why do we have a different book on every campus? I wish all the faculty members, JCC, could have been there to answer that for me. You know what my response to them was? I don't know how to make that work, because I don't. Because if I knew how to make it work, we'd have one book for each course, and I don't know how to make that work yet. But I do know that the faculty members know how to make that work, and I know that eventually it is going to work. I told them that in a few cases, a few disciplines, faculty members have indeed collaborated, and they have chosen a single textbook. That's a major issue for our students, and it's one that I hope the faculty will really take on. It is a serious issue. We have students who attend. I had somebody yesterday who was on 4 campuses. Because of their lives, they get what they need. They go to 4 campuses, and if you need to change for whatever reason, you got to go and buy a new book. Somehow it doesn't seem fair to the students, and I agree with that. So that's a big challenge for us with all of our academic freedoms that we have and all of the freedoms that we have to make choices. I'm hoping that the faculty, it's a plea actually, that the faculty will choose to make the choice on the side of the student. With that, I will end my report, and unless there are some questions of me, Mr. Hudson. Any
questions for Ms. Hadley? No. Okay, Mr. Greenhill reminded me that I failed to appoint a chairman for the audit committee. And usually what you do is when somebody speaks up, they get the job, right? So if the board does not object, Mr. Greenhill, you have the job. Okay. And I hear no objection. Yes. The next item on their agenda is the ACCT report, and I think Ms. Vandegrift may be a little bit surprised because I didn't check with her, but I did with Mr. Greenhill, and I have selected both of them to give us a report as a fantastic, well, no, maybe not that part, but on the ACCT conference that we attended in Canada recently. Ms. Greenhill and Ms. Vandegrift.
I have some, I guess, interesting ideas and concepts I'd love to share, or suggestions, just a few. And I want to reiterate that clearly student success was the dominant theme throughout, including the completion issue and accountability. And it was just a pleasure to go with my colleagues and the Chancellor, certainly, and it was reaffirming, that Tarrant County College is truly a model for educating community college students, and it's exciting to know that we have really state-of-the-art and best practices in that area. On the other hand, it's not fun, but it's worthwhile acknowledging that everybody has the same challenges. It's just at different levels, whether you're a school of 1,700 or 50,000. So it was a great experience. Some of the presentations I went to, I thought were certainly new and different for me. And one of the presentations called the Frida Kahlo Code, which was presented by Santa Monica College, Community College, and Riverside Community College in California. And basically, they have the real deal for student access and success. And what they look at are policies and practices that contain code language that lessens student access and success. And so throughout the presentation, one of the, I thought, interesting comments was using deficit language, meaning terminology such as at-risk, remediation, underprepared, developmental, which can be barriers to success, in lieu of using pre-collegiate courses or pre-collegiate education or pre-collegiate sections. So I thought that was very interesting. I did get some other referrals to other urban centers on not only this issue but other issues that focus on barriers of access and success, which I thought were interesting. Another more lively presentation we had was Burning the Midnight Oil with Bunker Hill College in Massachusetts. They have implemented midnight classes, midnight to 2:30, very successfully. They really targeted the shift workers, and because of their increased enrollment, it just filled a need. And it was the most engaged group in terms of the conversation, because lots of people have different ideas of how to deal with enrollment levels. So that was fun. They did offer free coffee. Faculty was bringing donuts, and so they did share a lot of media response that they had all across the nation. It was just incredible. The keynote speaker for the general session luncheon, I guess on Thursday, was Mark Milleron. He is the Deputy Director for Post-Secondary Improvement with the Gates Foundation. And again, he basically talked about keeping the commitment, meeting the college completion challenge. And so with that, I think as an overall view, I think the biggest question we'll have, or the need, is to ask ourselves what really constitutes completion. Because we heard in the town hall meeting that Mr. Greenhill referred to, there's a lot of different opinion of what completion means. So I think that's for all of us to think about. But anyway, it's great, and I appreciate the opportunity to represent everybody.
I, too, appreciated the opportunity to attend the conference. There were several tracks involved. You'd have a track to for one set of ideas and another set of ideas. My track was generally how to become, as a new trustee. I met with other new trustees in many conferences, and there were lively discussions about how to become an effective new trustee, which I am. And so I thought it was very instructive, because my challenges are the challenges I face, which are fun challenges, are faced by all new trustees. And so as a general proposition, I was looking for one of them was how to get it. I thought that was the topic, was how to get it. Coming to a meeting like the first meeting I came to, there was a closed session. We came out here and had action. Well, golly. But how to get information, and a lot of it was about, I had a marvelous conversation with, he was with the University of Texas, and he talked about, and what he talked about was trust in your chancellor. You hire the chancellor to run your college, and to do the hiring and the firing, and to make the educational policies. One of the things I was interested in is proper governance. We've had some campaigns and so forth, and I was interested in what the balance is between the proper role between a chancellor and the trustees and the chairman of the board. And I learned a lot. There are many ideas, and it's good to know that it's not black and white. There's always an in between, and everybody's we're going to have to do it our way, because we have our own unique situation. But I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot.
Very good.
And it goes without saying that I trust my chancellor. I'm sorry, I kind of left that out there.
You notice he didn't make that comment about the president of the board, did he? He didn't say anything about it. He said about that other scoundrel, whatever. I don't like to add things to reports that people make, so I won't do that, because what you do sometimes is you just say they didn't really know anything, but I do, kind of thing. But I will make one comment about it. I think the best quote that I heard while I was there was a quote from Mark Twain, that you should live your life so that even the undertaker is sad when you die.
Yeah, that was great.
I thought that was pretty good instruction.
That was a great quote.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want the board members who were not there to know how much I wished you were there, because it was absolutely an outstanding meeting. And then to tell the three who were there how much I enjoyed being there with you, and then to tell the rest of you that some boards had their full boards there with them, and some of them had 5 out of 6, and some had 7 out of 9. Mrs. Vandergriff and I ended up in one session together. She didn't know I was going to that one, and I didn't know she was going. I think that's the only time we overlapped, because we all went to different things. But it was presented by Houston Community College System, and the president of the board was making the presentation. That's one of the things that's so great about ACCT, because it is a board group, and it's not staff who are up there with all of that, unless staff is accompanying a board member. But the president of the Houston Community College Board made the presentation. He did have, with him, he introduced 6 other board members. They had 7 out of their 9 board members there with them. They had the chancellor there. They had a vice chancellor. They had 2 full-time staff people who worked for the board there with them, and then they had 1 other staff person. I think that's about 12 people altogether who were there from Houston. And that was pretty common to see large numbers of people from those institutions, because it is such an outstanding meeting, and they have so many opportunities for sessions until it takes quite a few people to kind of cover the waterfront. But for where there were boards that were reporting, they tended to have more people there with them, or if there were a board member who was getting an award, or a CEO from their institution getting an award, or if the institution was getting an award for something, they tended to have more people there. But ACCT, I think, is really an outstanding organization, and I certainly would encourage all of you to continue to participate in as many of those board activities as you can, because I think the more involved you get in what goes on with this institution, the better we are for that. So we have plenty of other opportunities coming up. And by the way, ACCT is going to be in Dallas next year.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was going to say.
we expect to have 7 out of 7 attending that one. Thank you.
I would echo that. I highly recommend ACCT. I've attended the last 2 congresses, and it will teach you a lot. It teaches you what you're doing well, and it teaches you what you should be doing that you're not, and it teaches you some things to avoid, to stay away from. So, and I do encourage everybody to attend the Dallas meeting, the meeting here in Dallas next time. And I think we're going to be, I talked to Dr. Lassiter, I think we're going to be participating in that at least to a degree next time. Okay, the next item on the agenda is closed meetings. As far as I know, we do not expect action after the closed meeting. So
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
In your packets, you should have an invitation to the Mary I. Gorley Scholarship Foundation Luncheon. We will welcome your attendance at that if you can make it. It is at noon on the South Campus in the Forum Room. And there will be an opportunity for us to help our students who receive those scholarships celebrate those. And Reginald Gates also has something. We're required by law to give you a report, an annual report on the safety of our institution, all of our campuses. So if you'll just take one of those, it makes for good bedtime reading. And it also makes Chief Frank Buchanan happy that I passed those out. And it satisfies our requirements of the law that we make sure the Board of Trustees knows what we're doing. Thank you, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you. We will reconvene in closed meeting, and we will return after the closed meeting.
Yes.
Were you going to talk to Mr. Hudson about going ahead and skipping down to 10 since there's no action?
Oh, I'm sorry. Bill Lace reminds me that you can adjourn this meeting. How does it work, Bill?
We just
Fairly recent legislation enables you, if no action is to be taken after the closed item, to go ahead and move down and announce the next meeting and adjourn, so you do not have to come back in here after the closed meeting.
Okay. I know this is going to disappoint.
I don't think so.
Some of y'all. But
Emma's already got her purse in her lap. She's ready to go. They all do.
As Dr. Lace said, recent legislation allows me to adjourn the meeting since there's going to be no action on the closed meeting. So if there's no objection, from other board members, we will adjourn this meeting, and we will meet again on November 18th at 5:30 p.m. for our next regular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lay. That makes it much better, doesn't it?